Zulu 501, altimeter tree 0.0 tree, wind 211 at 4. Cleared for takeoff runway 20.
Cleared for takeoff runway 20 Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Power set. Gear up. Gear selected up. Gear up, lights up.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, contact Central America Center on 124 decimal tree. Good day. Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, please acknowledge.
Going to 124 decimal tree Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Flaps up. Flaps going
Central America Center Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501 is passing 4,300 feet, climbing 16,000 feet.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, Central America Center, altimeter tree 0.04, continue to Libby's as planned.
Retail power. Setting meter power, 48 inches, 2600 RPM. Meter power set. Climb power. Setting climb power.
Coseguina, also spelled Coseguina, is a stratovolcano located in the western part of Nicaragua. It forms a large peninsula extending into the Gulf of Fonseca. The summit is truncated by a large caldera, 2 by 2.4 kilometers in diameter and 500 meters deep, holding a substantial crater lake, Laguna Coseguina. This cone has grown within an earlier caldera, forming a somma volcano. The earlier caldera rim is still exposed on the north side, but has been buried by the younger cone elsewhere. The volcano last erupted in 1859, but its most famous activity occurred on January 20, 1835, during the presidency of José Núñez, when it produced the largest historical eruption in Nicaragua. Ash from the 1835 eruption has been found in Mexico, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. According to an analysis by Barclay Earth surface temperature, the 1835 eruption caused a temporary decrease in the average land temperature of Earth of about 0.75 degrees Celsius. It has not erupted since 1859, only an instant in terms of geological time. An earthquake swarm was measured near Coseguina in 2002, indicating that tectonic forces are still active in the region. Although the volcano is somewhat isolated from the line of more recently active Central American volcanoes to the northwest and southeast, the only indicators of hydrothermal activity at the volcano are intermittently observed gas bubbles in Laguna Coseguina, and a hot spring along the eastern flank of the volcano. The fairly uniform vegetation cover on the volcano's sides also attests to a general lack of gas emissions or hot spots on the 872-meter high cone. The Coseguina is part of the Central American Volcanic Arc. The Central American Volcanic Arc, often abbreviated to CAVA, is a chain of volcanoes which extends parallel to the Pacific coastline of the Central American Isthmus, from Mexico to Panama. This volcanic arc, which has a length of 1,100 kilometers (680 miles), is formed by an active subduction zone, with the Cocos Plate subducting underneath the Caribbean Plate. The region has been volcanically and geologically active for at least the past several million years. Numerous volcanoes are spread throughout various Central American countries. Many have been active in the geologic past, some more so than others. The Central American Volcanic Arc consists of hundreds of volcanic formations, including stratovolcanoes, composite volcanoes, calderas, and lava domes. From a depositional standpoint, ash falls, ash flows, and deposits of tephra are prevalent throughout the region. Carbon and argon isotope dating has been used to date these deposits to the Quaternary, and it is suspected that several of these volcanoes have been sporadically active for much of the past 200,000 years. Some volcanoes in the area have even produced large explosive eruptions in the recent past, including the October 25, 1902, eruption of the Santa Maria volcano in Guatemala. This Plinian eruption spewed upwards of 20 cubic kilometers of ash almost 30 kilometers into the sky. Much of this ash was fine-grained, averaging less than 2 millimeters in size. Similarly, Cerro Negro, a 250-meter-tall volcano in northwest Nicaragua, erupted in 1971, 1992, and 1995. The two latter eruptions, occurring in the 1990s, had similar magmatic compositions to one another, both broadly basaltic. However, as the water and carbon dioxide contents of each eruption were different, with the earlier eruption having higher levels of carbon dioxide and water vapor, and the later eruption degassing many of its volatiles, markedly different styles of eruption occurred, with the 1992 eruption of Cerro Negro much more explosive than its 1995 counterpart. Other volcanoes in Central America include the Salvadorian Santa Ana, Izalco, and San Salvador volcanoes, the Nicaraguan Masaya volcano, and the Costa Rican Mirabales, Irazu, and Poas volcanoes. Many remain sporadically active to this day, and likely will continue to be active into the future, as geologic and tectonic processes continue to shape the region. The Galapagos Islands are located off the west coast of South America straddling the equator. The Galapagos are located at the confluence of several currents, including the cold Humboldt Current traveling north from South America, and the Panama Current traveling south from Central America make the islands cooler, and provide the perfect environment for the unique mix of wildlife that inhabits the islands. These islands are volcanic in origin and were never attached to any continent. Galapagos wildlife arrived here in one of three ways: flying, floating, or swimming. Where in most environments larger mammals are normally the predators at the top of the food chain, these animals were unable to survive the journey. Thus the giant Galapagos tortoise became the largest land animal on the islands, and due to the lack of natural predators, the wildlife in the Galapagos is known for being extremely tame without instinctual fear. The Galapagos Islands are noted as a home to a large number of endemic species. The stark rocky islands, many with few plants, made it necessary for many species need to adapt to survive here, and by doing so evolving into new endemic species. It was after visiting the Galapagos and studying the endemic wildlife that inhabit the islands that a young Charles Darwin developed his theory of evolution. One of the best known is the Galapagos tortoise, which lives on 7 of the islands. It has an average lifespan of more than 150 years.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501 descends and maintains 3,000 feet.
Normal.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
The marine iguana is also extremely unusual, since it is the only iguana adapted to life in the sea. Land iguanas, lava lizards, geckos, and harmless snakes can also be found in the islands. The large number and range of birds is also of interest to scientists and tourists. Around 56 species live in the archipelago, of which 27 are found only in the Galapagos. Some of these are found only on one island. The most outstanding are penguins, which live on the colder coasts, Darwin's finches, frigate birds, albatrosses, gulls, boobies, pelicans and Galapagos hawks, among others. The flightless cormorant, a peculiar bird which has lost the ability to fly, and the Galapagos crake, nearly flightless, are also part of this rich fauna. On the other hand, there are many mammal species, mostly sea mammals such as whales, dolphins, and sea lions. A few species of endemic Galapagos mice, or rice rats, the Santiago Galapagos mouse and the Fernandina Galapagos mouse, have been recently rediscovered. Charles Darwin was the one who discovered over 100 new species of birds on the island. On the larger Galapagos Islands, 4 ecological zones have been defined: coastal, low or dry, transitional, and humid. In the first, species such as myrtle, mangrove, and saltbush can be found. In the second grow cactus, the Bursera graveolens, the incense tree, carob tree, manchineel, the poison apple tree, chala, and yellow cordia, among others. In the transitional zone, taller trees, epiphytes, and perennial herbs can be seen. The best known varieties are the cat's claw, Espula de Gala. In the humid sector are the cogojo, Galapagos guava, cat's claw, Galapagos coffee, passion flower, and some types of moss, ferns and fungus. An invasive species is an alien organism that is not native to a habitat, and introduced to a new area that wreaks havoc on the ecosystem, infrastructure, and economy. These species can be introduced via natural events or, more commonly, through human interactions like colonization, tourism, and the releasing of exotic pets. There are approximately over 1,300 total invasive species within the Galapagos Islands, consisting of over 500 insects, over 750 plants, and over 30 vertebrates. Most of the plants were brought for agricultural and aesthetic reasons. The Galapagos Islands are highly susceptible to the introduction of foreign species. The islands are credited with being Ecuador's most prized feature because they are well known for their intense biodiversity. Scientists who study the flora and fauna in the Galapagos agree that the increasing amount of invasive species in the region is the single greatest threat to the terrestrial ecosystems. The islands are specifically vulnerable because of their geographic location away from the mainland Ecuador.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, contact approach on 125.0. Good day.
Going to 125.0 Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501. Approach Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501 is passing 4,900 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, approach altimeter 29.89er, continue to GS 222, as planned.
This distance separates the existing species in the Galapagos from their counterparts on the mainland. Therefore, when foreign species invade the islands, they can easily proliferate until they are the majority. Feral goats were introduced by humans to the islands for agricultural reasons have had a huge impact on the ecosystem. Feral goats are dangerous to the environment because they eat everything in sight, destroying many habitats. These goats do not have natural predators, thus their population continues to grow, which leads to a decrease in other organisms they prey on. The goats have had a huge impact on a specific species on the island, the Galapagos tortoise. The goats would eat all of the food and resources needed by the tortoises, eventually driving the tortoises towards extinction. Fixing the problems of the invasive species in the Galapagos is not easy, as it is very expensive, and takes a long time to rid an island of an invasive species. There are many organizations that dedicate themselves to help keep invasive species out of the Galapagos, and help eradicate them as well, like the Charles Darwin Foundation, who helped create the Galapagos Inspection and Quarantine System, SIGIL, that checks the luggage brought into the Galapagos Islands for animals and plants that could be released onto the island.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, descend and maintain 1,900 feet.
Descend and maintain 1,900 feet Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Another example of a proposed solution is Project Isabella. Project Isabella, which was proposed to rid the island of the feral goats before they caused any extreme damage to the island and the animals living on it. This proposition was very gruesome due to the large massacre of goats, which left large amounts of dead goats on the ground for everyone to see. They left the slaughtered goats on the ground so that the nutrients from the goats would be put back into the ecosystem. Other invasive species that were successfully eradicated were fire ants, rock pigeons, cats, and a species of blackberry bush. Scientists have also suggested the release of natural enemies to control population growth amongst the invasive species.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, descend and maintain 1,500 feet.
Descend and maintain 1,500 feet, Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, you are 7 miles southeast of Seymour. Contact tower on 125.0 when inbound.
Tower on 125.0 Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501. Tower Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, 6 miles southeast, inbound Arnav Zulu runway tree to approach.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501 tower. Altimeter 29.901, wind 28 tree at 11. Cleared Arnav Zulu runway tree to approach. Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, wind 28 tree at 11. Cleared to land runway tree 2.
Cleared to land runway tree 2 Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Gear down and locked in 3 lanes. Ramps. 2400 RPM. 2400 RPM set. Cow flaps. Plus 3 degrees. Cow flaps set. ADI. ADI off. ADI is on. Bailey lights. Speed good. Extending lights. Lights extended and on. Car ready. Calming called. Set call. Before landing checks complete. After landing checks complete.
Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, turn next taxiway. Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, exit runway when able. Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501, contact ground on 122.2.
122.2 for Alitalia Alpha Zulu 501.
Seymour Galapagos Ecological Airport is an airport serving the island of Baltra, one of the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. The airport became the world's first green airport in December 2012. The new terminal, which consists of recycled steel tubes taken from oil drilling operations in the Amazon, is spread over 6,000 square meters and required an investment of just over $24 million. The new complex will use clean, renewable technologies such as solar energy, wind farms, and seawater desalination, among other environmental innovations. According to Ecogol, the company that operates the terminal, and the construction of the new airport took into account the surrounding environment and sought to make a minimal impact on the ecosystem. The project was announced in 2008, with construction commencing in 2012. The purpose of the redevelopment from the outset was to create the world's first ecological airport. Ecogol was awarded a 15-year concession to administer and operate the airport.